Hello everyone, welcome to the Tristar Gym channel. Today's episode is a episode on answering all the questions you guys posted. Thank you very much for posting all these questions. We got hundreds and hundreds of questions, and I'm going to be answering the most upvoted and most liked questions you guys put up. I'm going to do as many as I can in this short video, so let's get started. Chokin MN asks, what's your take on Ryan Hall's current tough success, and how far do you see his particular style advancing in UFC? I think Ryan is going to do tremendously well in UFC. I think he's really taken his jiu-jitsu to the next level and really tested it against all different type of martial artists. Okay, so he's been practicing against grapplers, against sambo guys, against catch wrestlers, against MMA guys, against kung fu guys. Every type of martial artist under the sun, he has trained with and tried his jiu-jitsu on, and he's worked out the kinks. And I think this is a huge benefit to his style, because if you're always grappling with other jiu-jitsu practitioners and you guys are going to get into a type of repetitive sequence, and then all of a sudden some MMA guy comes who doesn't play that type of game, he doesn't invert his guard, or he doesn't give you the same reactions that you're used to. All of a sudden your jiu-jitsu starts to break down because you're not used to these type of reactions. We have to remember, jiu-jitsu is mainly a counter-attack art. According to your action, I'm going to react. I'm molding myself around you. Jiu-jitsu is about molding yourself around your opponent and turning his attack on him. So it is crucial that you test yourself against people who have different reactions. So for that reason, I really think he's going to go very far. Next question from Chokin MN was also a highly upvoted question. Is, in your estimation, what grappling coach instructor has the best understanding of how to make BJJ work in mixed martial arts competition? I would have to say again, it's Ryan Hall, for the same reasons I posted up earlier. I've trained a lot with Ryan Hall, so I know his jiu-jitsu quite well, and I can tell you that his jiu-jitsu is going to be very potent in mixed martial arts. Fighters are going to get confused, and he knows very well what other martial artists do. He might not fight like he might not do catch wrestling, or he might not do other types of grappling arts, but he's been very well exposed, and he understands what other people do, and that's why I think he has the edge. Valkyrian, what do you look for when considering promoting a student, and what do promotions mean to you? For me, the first belt should be your easiest belt to get. A blue belt shouldn't be difficult. In my opinion, the definition of a blue belt, according to what Elio Gracie says, what I read in Jiu-Jitsu University, written by Saulo Ribeiro, he says that Elio taught him that a blue belt just means you can beat a bigger, stronger, untrained opponent. Okay, so blue belt just means that if you fight a bigger, stronger guy, you will be able to subdue him, and you will be able to use jiu-jitsu, of course, to beat him. This, for me, shouldn't take too long. I think this is a very excellent definition. I think it's a definition we should go by. And how much jiu-jitsu do you need? How many years of training do you need to beat an untrained guy? Not long. In my opinion, if you're training 3 to 5 days a week, you should get it within 6 months to a year. I mean, quite easily. Quite easily. A blue belt for me doesn't mean you're the best. So it just means you could beat a bigger, stronger, untrained opponent. Which for me, if the jiu-jitsu curriculum is good at the school, it shouldn't take long. I'll put any one of my students with 6 months experience against a guy with no experience, and I'm extremely confident they will win that fight. So the next belt is purple belt. Now, in my opinion, purple belt is a hard belt to get. It should be extremely difficult. It should take about 5 years. I haven't given anybody a purple belt under 5 years, except for 2 individuals who were training maybe 3 times a day, 8 hours a day. I mean, it's very difficult to get a purple belt. It means you're advanced. It's the first advanced belt. If I give you a purple belt, I'm telling the world that, hey, this guy's jiu-jitsu is advanced. So for me, he will control blue belts. He will sub blue belts on a regular basis. He won't struggle with the blue belts. He will do very well, except for the blue belts who are extremely experienced and are knocking on that purple belt door. Other than that, if he's just wrestling with a regular blue belt or white belt, he will have a very easy time with them. A purple belt should be challenging to brown belts, and he should know his details. He should know the details. He should know the different variations. He should know different combinations. He is advanced. He needs to know complicated positions. So if he doesn't know these things, he won't get a purple belt. And purple belt sometimes is where people stop. They don't get to purple belt. And I always tell my students, I mean, blue belts is where where most practitioners stop. And I always tell my students, if I give you a purple belt, it's because I believe you're going to make it to black belt. If I don't see black belt in you, it'll be very hard for me to give you a purple belt, because I believe every purple belt has exactly what it takes to be a black belt. So purple belt is a very crucial step. If you get to purple belt, there's no excuse. You need to get to black belt. Now, brown belts, of course, should dominate and control purple belts and sub them, of course, not necessarily with ease, but still get submissions every so often. And black belts should be doing the same thing to brown belts. Okay, so once a brown belt starts going 50-50 with black belts, he taps one every so often, and he's starting to get really good, it's time to promote him to black belt. So once you get to purple, it really becomes about how good you are compared to the other belts, and we're going to group you accordingly. Whereas for me, blue belt, it's just whether you can sub or control or dominate an untrained opponent, bigger, stronger, untrained opponent. Next question. S. Blazy, you mentioned Demian Maia as a great example of universal jiu-jitsu, effective in gi, no gi, MMA. What is it about his style that has allowed him to be so successful in MMA? Well, he cross-trains. He did gi and no gi, which is fantastic, and I think that's the best of both worlds. And he could wrestle. You know, he has added a tremendous amount of wrestling in his art. To take it even further, he added cage wrestling. So not only can he grapple, not only can he take you down, but if you're up against the fence, he's phenomenal at taking you down as well. He's an incredible fence wrestler. So because he cross-trained and he's explored his jiu-jitsu in different dimensions, his jiu-jitsu in MMA so far, I think, has been the most successful. And I think a lot of jiu-jitsu practitioners can learn a lot from him. Here's from You Don't Know Me 69. What do you think about gi training for MMA? Gi training for MMA, I think, is important. People think that you should start with gi. I'm the opposite. I'm of the opposite thought. If you're going to do just one, do no gi. Doing no gi is better. Why? Because for me, the gi is an extra weapon. You know, for instance, I always tell students, you know, who do you think would be more dangerous? I always ask this hypothetical question. Who do you think would be the more dangerous? A very seasoned and expert knife self-defense guy, or if I gave a knife to Muhammad Ali? Which one of these guys do you think is more dangerous with a knife? You know, a lot of people tell me, well, the guy who does, you know, trains with a knife, obviously he's cultured in the world of knife attacks, etc. I would disagree. I think an experienced boxer, you know, if I gave Muhammad Ali a knife, I don't think there's a man on the face of the earth he wouldn't be able to annihilate, you know, because what is fighting? You know, for me, fighting is reaction, reading your body movements and predicting where you're gonna go. That's what fighting is. You know, when I see you move, fake and feint, and attack me, how do I react to that? Have I seen these patterns before? Am I comfortable reacting to these patterns? And if you think you can avoid a jab from Muhammad Ali, then that means to me you're one of the most elite boxers in the history of boxing, because even the best of the best were not able to avoid a jab. And why was he such a great jabber? Because of his footwork, because of his movement, because of his ability to read your body language. So for me, if you just give him a knife, he could easily you know, stab you as he could easily jab you. The difference would be none to him. It would be just as simple as jabbing you. And if you try to attack him with a knife, he would avoid it just like he would avoid a punch. So of course, we're not talking about close quarters combat here. We're talking about, you know, plenty of space to move, like in a ring, etc. If it was close quarters combat, I would say a wrestler with a knife is more dangerous. A jiu-jitsu practitioner with a knife is more dangerous because he can control your body. The knife is a plus. For me, the gi is a plus. You know, if I start with the gi and I get really comfortable with these collar grips. Okay, let's say I start to base my game on a collar grip. Let's say my guard is based on grabbing the collar, and I grab the sleeve. Let's say that's just the kind of game I play. Or let's say I start developing a very strong spider guard, etc. And then I go in no gi, my whole game falls apart. My whole game falls apart because I don't have my go-to grips. Now, take another practitioner, for instance. Let's say I take a guy who starts in no gi, okay? And his go-to move from the guard is collar tie. You know, he likes to grab the neck, he likes to grab the wrist, he likes to arm drag, he likes to invert the guard, he likes to do all these crazy things. And then I add the gi. Well, now he has all his moves plus these new grips. But that foundation is there. You know, he's not going to be confused. Now, the bad thing is that maybe when he gets gripped, he doesn't know how to break the grips. But that's really easy to fix. You know, teaching people how to break grips and counter grip is super simple. It's very simple. But teaching a guy who plays spider guard Now trying to teach him the lehiva without the gi is quite difficult, because all his go-to sweeps necessitate the gi, whereas the no-gi guy, he doesn't need the gi. The gi being there, those extra tight grips are a bonus for him. So if I give Muhammad Ali, a knife, it's a bonus for him. He could still hit you without the knife, but with the knife, it's just now he can really hurt you. So for me, it's an added weapon. The gi for me is a weapon. And if I learn to fight with a weapon in my hand and you take it away, I was dependent on a weapon. Or my whole game is dependent on a weapon. My whole game hits the dirt. Another great way to think about it is hockey. I've heard in hockey that kids who learn to skate without the stick are always better skaters. Why? Because the stick is a crutch. Literally, you put it on the ice to balance yourself, and they never become as competent in skating as the kids who learn skating on one day and then stick handling on another. I think martial arts is very similar. So keep that in mind next time you schedule your training program. Next question. Zeno, what country are you from? Your parents originally from? Just wondering. My parents are Lebanese, and I'm also Lebanese, born in Quebec, Canada. Next question. Barry K85. Firas, would you ever consider competing in a BJJ Superfight? Yes, I would, definitely. I've had a few offers already, but I'm always in training camps quite often. But if one day I have the time and I get a good offer, we'll definitely do it. Next question. Who are your favorite BJJ competitors, old or new? Bonus question. Are you BJJ Scout? No, I'm not BJJ Scout. I've corresponded with him a few times. Don't know who he is. His identity is secret. Favorite BJJ competitors? I would have to say I really enjoy watching Keenan Cornelius compete. I think he's brilliant the way he mixes wrestling and jiu-jitsu. He's fantastic. Old school, there's so many great guys. I guess I would have to say Marcelo Garcia's old school, so I would have to say definitely drop his name in the hat. He's a guy I found very inspiring over the years. Mario Sperry, Renzo Gracie, all the greats, Royler Gracie, and I would say Jean-Jacques Machado definitely inspired me a lot in the early Abu Dhabis. I used to watch him a lot. So all the greats, I really enjoyed them all. Next question. Red Sun Blue. How hard do you go when you spar? What do you feel is the best sparring intensity to foster learning in MMA? I believe in all intensities. Far from a fight, I like to go more relaxed. I think the guy should go more relaxed and more technical and avoid injuries, etc. You don't want to add miles on the body. Closer to a fight, you need to feel that fighting intensity. You need to feel it. The speed is different. The energy is different. You got to learn how to deal with it. So start really light, and closer to your training camp when you're in really good shape and you're feeling like you're on fire, you have momentum behind you, start cranking up that intensity. What do you do to deal with smelly kid in class? BJJ problems. Yeah, the smelly kid in class, that's a problem. So usually what I do is, if I walk around the gym and I smell something and I don't know who it is because there's so many people in the gym, I'll call, like between moves, I'll be like, okay guys, I'll just remind the whole class, don't forget, remember when you come to practice, you have to have showered, clean shirt, clean clothes. Don't work out an hour before and then jump into class all sweaty. You have to take a shower. You have to change your clothes. I'll just make a general announcement. If we know who the kid is, I'll take him on the side. I'll tell him there's a problem. And if it happens more than once, twice, we actually leave them a letter at the front desk, and we warn them that if they keep, coming to the gym and sneaking up the place, they're gonna get revoked. Okay, so they're gonna be kicked out of the gym. So we give them a written letter so that when we do kick them out, they were officially warned. Okay, they can't deny it. That's how I deal with it, and I like to keep the gym smelling as clean as possible. Next question. This is from Alios. Well, these are a lot smaller. Hey, I'm 19 years old living in Montreal. What do you recommend someone who's never trained martial arts to start with, and how do you go about starting? I believe you should start Jiu-Jitsu. Come to Tristar Gym, do the basics Jiu-Jitsu class. I teach it myself, and I think it's the best place to start. All martial arts should start with Jiu-Jitsu. It's the most important martial art, I think, and it's the funnest to learn. And later on, adding the striking just makes it all more exciting because you get to explore a new dimension. But Jiu-Jitsu, in my opinion, is the first place you should start. It's the backbone of fighting. Next question. Alejandro Mercutio. Can you give me some advice on my first MMA fight? Yes, definitely. Keep your hands up, your chin down, and stick with the basics. If it's your first fight, don't do anything fancy. Hands up, chin down, no crazy game plans. Take the center of the cage and do what you're trained to do. Good luck. Next question. TC4CFC. With your current skill set and a 6-week camp, do you think you can compete with fighters in UFC? Yes, so I think I could. I train with UFC fighters all the time. I spar with them on a regular basis. I roll with them on a regular basis. I've been doing that for over a decade, so I definitely think over the years I've cultivated a very high skill level. So um, definitely think so. Next question. Do you have any recommendations for fighters returning from an ACL injury? Yes, definitely. Go on the internet and look up SSL Sports Science Lab. They have a tremendous system. They have a DVD, a water workout. Any of you out there who got surgery, a shoulder, ankle, whatever, the water workout that SSL Sports Science Lab does with Gavin McMillan, look it up. Get those crazy little water weights they use. They're amazing. I used it with the GSP, and it's amazing. And many other fighters who had surgeries. Pool workouts are amazing recovery. It's an amazing recovery tool. So good luck with that. Next question from Bilal. What is the best way to get your cardio up? What are your thoughts on a proper diet regimen? What do you do if you hit a plateau? Well, what's the best way to build your cardio up? I'm a big believer in track. I'm a big believer in sprinting. Use the pose method of running. If you're not familiar with it, look it up online. POSE, pose method of running. Do not run in any other way. You will hurt your joints, okay? What are your thoughts on a proper regimen? I really like Dr. Furman's nutritarian diet. Okay, so basically he takes the most highly nutritious foods. Look at him up, Dr. Furman. He's written several books. An amazing. He's a medical doctor, of course, and he's an incredible. He wrote an incredible book on the importance of micronutrients and how they interact with your body. One of the best books on nutrition I've ever read. I highly recommend it. What do you do if you hit a plateau? Well, you can do it a lot of different ways. What I like to do is I'll do an intensive. I'll go in the gym and I'll do a 4-hour workout, and I'll do that 3 days in a row. And I'll do that. I know it's burning candles on both ends, but I'll do that just periodically, and then I'll take like 2-3 days off. And I think that will help me break through a plateau. So I do that once in a while to throw my system a curveball, and I find it helps. Akeem would punching in a street fight be a good idea? You don't have any gloves on, or wraps on. Yes, definitely punch in a street fight. Whenever you're in a fight, you're not gonna feel any pain. You break your hand, it's not gonna stop you from fighting. If you're in a real fight to the death here, or a real street altercation, I've punched a few guys bare knuckle, never hurt my hand. Aim for the jaw. If you hit the jaw, you will not hurt your hand. It's if you hit the crown of the head. Okay, when two structures collide, the stronger structure breaks the weaker structure. It doesn't matter who's punching who. If you punch me on the top of the head, the bone density in my skull is more dense than your fist. So it doesn't matter that you hit me. Every action has an opposite equal reaction. So don't hit any of the stronger structures, such as the top of the head. So it's really the top of the head of the problem. Do not worry about that. Punch the guy. Do push-ups on your knuckles. Do a bag every so often without your hand wraps. I don't wear hand wraps, me personally, unless my hands are hurting. If I feel a tweak in my fist, I put on hand wraps. Other than that, I punch just with the glove. It'll toughen up your bones. And in a street altercation, you won't feel the pain. Next question. Biba Thor, Firas, who can go train at Tristar? Can a 33-year-old overweight go train and just train or have a program? Yes, definitely. You're in our area. We have a basics class. We train all levels. It's not just pro fighters. So definitely come in and again start with jiu-jitsu. Start with the basics. It's a fun class, and you'll lose the weight and you'll get into mixed martial arts. Next question, Michael Treme. Hey Faraz, how do you help your fighters deal with a loss? Well, when you have a loss, it's a tough thing. I think personally we have to get to the root of the problem. Why did you lose? How do we fix that? What do we do to make sure it doesn't happen again? And that's going to give you the confidence to get back into training. And I think that'll make all the difference. It's all about fixing what went wrong. If you fix what went wrong, the fighter will feel confident again, and you'll maintain a good relationship with them. So make that a priority. Next question. Let's see here. Next question. Can you speak about athletic development? How do you define it, and how do you specifically train it? Okay, so how do you develop athleticism? Well, the bad news is that most of your athleticism is, from what I understand and all the literature I've read, is really set early on when you're young. Like if you want to be an elite athlete, it's really when you're young. So hopefully, you were into sports and your parents, let you play a lot of different team sports, etc. Ball sports are great, etc. If not, I really recommend, I like weightlifting, but also I like doing a lot of body weight style gymnastic exercises. I really find that they teach you coordination, like cartwheel, tumbling, etc. It doesn't just build strength and plyometric power. It will also build a fluidity, a coordination, and that's why I like tumbling and gymnastics, etc. If you're not able to do gymnastics, pick up Christopher Summers' Gymnastic Body. It's a phenomenal book. It teaches you the ABCs of developing strength as a gymnast. Next question. This is Butcher 6 Evil 3. Whoa. Question: what is the best way to handle the nerves before a fight? Every fight I'm getting into, like wrestling tournaments and stuff like that, I get extremely nervous and have no idea how to handle it. Okay, well, if you're getting that nervous and you're that scared and you're not stressed out in your competition, try to scale it down. So go to a really small grappling tournament. Find one online and go there. Go to a really small wrestling tournament. Go spar in a gym that's not really for fighters, etc. And then just slowly build up from there. And that's really the only way you're going to get over your fears. You need to face your fears, and slowly, as you get more and more comfortable facing your fears, scale it up. Then go to a more prominent boxing gym. Go into a amateur fight with people in attendance. Then from amateur, book several amateur fights. Go to a foreign state or province and fight. And just slowly scale up. And if you do that over the years, you will build the courage. You will build nerves of steel. So I hope that helps. Next question, Theodore Wurs. Have you ever trained with any catch wrestlers? And if so, how do you feel? And good compliment to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Yes, I've trained with a few catch guys. And I can't say they were high caliber catch guys. They're good quality catch guys. I think it's great. I personally still believe that Jiu-Jitsu is, just too refined. It's really the most sophisticated art out there. They have the most successful record in ground combat. So for me, I'm really focused on Jiu-Jitsu. Does it complement Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? I don't really know. I believe Jiu-Jitsu is really looking for anything. So if it does complement Jiu-Jitsu, I think the Jiu-Jitsu guys will include it in their curriculum. So eventually it will make its way around. Next question. Fit for MMA. Hey Firas, I'm Fadi from Laval. First, I really admire your work. Been to your gym a few times. Was wondering if you had any tips on specific training methods to increase reflexes. I don't know. I've done a lot of reading on reflex training, and I can't say I found anything that blew my mind. I really believe that just sparring with elite guys and more advanced guys will develop your reflexes over the years. I've seen a lot of guys do a lot of crazy different types of reflex training. Can't say that I've seen anything make a credible difference. So I'm not sure on this question. I'll be honest with you. I've done a lot of reading, but haven't seen anything I found that was amazing. I recommend more sparring. More sparring, I think, will lead to greater reflex reaction. Richard Leonhard. What do fighters do? Sorry. Why do fighters not train grappling with MMA gloves? At least I've never seen it. Yes, actually we do. We do that once a week. I think it's great. Grips are different. That's correct. And definitely recommend it. Haru Glory. Coach Firas, would you care to explain the difference of grappling used in tournaments and one used in the streets or MMA? Yes, definitely. A lot of things you do in grappling tournaments you could not do in MMA because you're going to get punched, you're going to get elbowed, etc. So there are major differences. And like I say, take your jiu-jitsu. If you're a jiu-jitsu guy, go roll in your local MMA gym. Go hang out with them. Go see what they do. And you're going to feel a different energy. And you're going to see oftentimes MMA guys are more athletic. And, ask them, hey guys, can you put on 16 gloves and try to do some ground and pound? Enjoy. We do it at Tristar. We do it regular basis. And it does change the game. So you need to go there and feel what it's like. There's nothing I can tell you to explain it. I mean, you got to just try it. Next question. Brian Perkins. I train Krav Maga. There are techniques to defend against armbar and rear naked choke, biting the leg for an armbar, attacking eyes and groin for rear naked choke. Do you think these are realistic and effective? I've heard Basrun say they aren't effective. No, I don't believe these are effective. If I have you in an armbar and you bite my leg, I will break your arm off. That's what's going to happen. You're going to piss the jiu-jitsu guy off. He will get angry. He will break your leg. Maybe some jiu-jitsu guys would let go. I wouldn't. I don't care if you took a whole bite out of my calf. I probably would not let you go. I would probably switch my legs around and put my legs in a way you cannot bite me, and then I would hurt you bad. So biting in a street fight, eye gouging, I always say escalates the situation. If you're in a street fight, do not eye gouge or bite unless you think your life is in danger. If your life is not in danger, do not escalate the situation. And about poking my eyes, I mean, there's a great video of Rickson Gracie choking out Zulu in their fight, and Zulu was trying to poke Rickson Gracie in the eye, and it didn't work. Rickson Gracie just moved his head around, deflected with his forehead. He just adjusted his body. Jiu-Jitsu practitioners are excellent at adjusting their body. He avoided the eye gouge and put the guy to sleep. And if you try to eye gouge me and I put you to sleep, what do you think the Jiu-Jitsu guy is going to do to you when you're asleep and unconscious? He's going to hurt you bad. So, in my opinion, these self-defense techniques should be a last priority. You are in life and death, then you poke the eyes, then you bite. Because if the person is more trained than you, it's going to backfire. So, avoid it at all costs. Can you recommend a supplement to speed up recovery? Supplements, to me, I think it's great. It's very expensive. If you have the money, it gives you I would say it would give you some benefit. I used to do supplements and this and that. Yes, I did feel better, but it was draining my pocket. I think some supplements are good. The key ones, BCAA, protein, fish oil is amazing. There are some, definitely. But don't go too far into it, because the best recovery is being fit. That is the number one recovery. Be extremely fit, and you will recover from your workouts. Give your body time to adapt, and the body will take care of itself. Proper nutrition, some supplements, definitely, especially when eating properly is difficult these days. Supplements are great. We take them on the road. We use them all the time. But don't forget, being in shape is the number one way to recover. Next question. Stinky Vatson 66. Favorite type of conditioning? I like kettlebell a lot these days. I'm doing more and more kettlebell, and I do a lot of body weight and track and sprinting and stuff like that every so often. But I really enjoy kettlebell. I recommend it for martial artists. It's excellent. Next question. Brian DeMint. How do you know when one of your students is ready to start competing in amateur MMA? How do you know when your amateurs are ready to turn pro? It all depends on how well they fight. I eyeball it. And over the years, you just kind of get an eye for it. And if the guys spar well in the gym, and I find he's well composed, fight amateur. If he wants to do that. I never ask my fighters if they want to fight. They always come to me and say, hey, coach, can I get a fight? That's the only way. You have to volunteer. If you don't volunteer, I won't book you a fight. So if you're sparring, that's one. And if you're doing well in sparring, you're trained, I consider you to be competent, and you want to fight, I will put you in. And then we'll take it from there. It's that simple. Impassable guard jiu-jitsu. Hey Firas, do you have a recommended reading list for mixed martial arts competitors? Any books that impacted your strategic prowess? P.S. I train at Henzo's in New York, and I'm looking to compete. Excellent question. For those of you who don't know, I'm a big reader. I read a lot of books. I'm a big reader. I love to read. And books for strategic prowess. Wow, there are many greats. There are many classics. One book I really enjoyed that I read years ago, and I still read regularly, is 33 Strategies of War by Robert Greene. Make sure you read that. But even more importantly is a very small book written by Peter Drucker. It's called Managing Oneself. I think every single person should read this book. It's not about fighting, but it will teach you how to manage yourself and your jiu-jitsu, your boxing, etc. This is an extremely important book. Every word in it is gold. It's a 45-minute read, and Peter Drucker made it very small and concise because he wanted people to get the picture. And I think he did a phenomenal job in that book, and it's the first stop for everyone, in my opinion. Next question. Bjorn Carlson. Do you have any recommended reading list for a fellow MMA martial arts nerd? Anything remotely related to MMA or martial arts? Excellent question. Excellent question again. Yes, many great books. I just recommended Peter Drucker's Managing Oneself. Another great book that I think would be excellent is The 7 Habits for Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey. It's not a book on martial arts, of course not, but the principles laid out in that book will make you a successful martial artist. I bet anything on it. So read that book, learn the 7 habits. All successful people know the 7 habits, whether they've read the book or not. They do it instinctively, and that book is excellent. So that's what I recommend. Next question. Best type of cardio for BJJ? Well, all cardio, if you're talking about cardiovascular training, it's all about your heart. The heart is a muscle. How do you build the heart? The number one way to build the heart is running. Use the pose method of running. It's the best way to run for healthy joints. Any other type of running will mess up your joints, in my opinion. So make sure to adopt the pose method. If you don't know what it is, get a teacher, find a certified trainer, or learn it on the internet. Do whatever it takes. Study the pose method of running before you start your running program. Next question. We're really running out of time, so this will be one of the last, I'm sure. How do you deal with an opponent with heavy pressure? That's a good question. Millen Archer, good question. You have to deflect your opponent. Notice that almost all jiu-jitsu moves are movements of deflection. So the 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 principle behind pressure, if you're the man on the bottom and you want to avoid the pressure, you have to know how to redirect or deflect that pressure. So that is my answer to you. It's not just a particular technique. That's the principle behind it. Alexander Ostolsky. Do you know who Jack Slack is? Did you read his books, articles, etc.? If yes, if the answer is yes, please tell us what your opinion is on his analytical work and methodology presented in his books. I haven't really read his books. I've come across one of them, which I really enjoyed. I skimmed through it. I've seen his work in the past. It's excellent work. The man is very experienced and knows what he's doing. I don't know who he is personally, but I definitely corresponded with him a few times, and he's an expert in what he does. I recommend his material. Next question. Snecken. What would you suggest Alexander Gustafsson should do from here? He lost 2 title fights and is now 1-3 in his last 4 fights. His corners coaching wasn't the best and has been criticized before. Would he be welcome at Tristar under your tutelage? Yes, I welcome all fighters. So all levels, all fighters, everybody's welcome at the gym. We have an incredible coaching staff and team, and yeah, I would welcome him. He seems like a nice guy. What went wrong? I think it was his footwork. I think the footwork was a problem. He was backpedaling really hard, and I think that gassed him out. And I think he needed some other footwork answers to deflect and redirect Cormier's power. I don't think he was able to do it, and I think he burned himself out. Try this experiment. Go to a 400-meter track, run face forward, and then try to get the same time. Jog it. Don't run it too fast. And do it backwards and see which one burns your legs out more. Running backwards will burn your legs out far more. So the guy backing up in the ring, like Alexander was doing, he was backing up so much. He has to keep up with the pace of Cormier. But Cormier is running forward. Alexander is running backwards. You cannot keep up that pace. You have to come up with another answer. And that's why his legs burned out. And that's why he lost the power in his punches. And Cormier was able to keep the steam going and won the fight. So that is the heart and soul of why he lost, in my opinion. It's just my opinion. Other people may disagree, but that is my opinion why he lost. Okay, guys, we are running out of time here. I think it will be the last question. What age is too old to fight? Do you think GSP is too old to be fighting now? What is it? People combat aging, diet, exercise, lifestyle. Yes, you want to combat aging, diet, exercise, lifestyle, definitely. And no, GSP is not too old to be fighting. He's very young. He's still in his prime, I think. And I think, studies show that you can keep increasing strength till the age of 45. So believe it or not, I believe you can keep getting better and stronger till the age of 45. That's what studies show. So I would recommend, I think you can even fight beyond that. There are many great, examples of this in boxing, etc. People fought later on in life, and they were very, very exceptional and very, very effective. As you get older, you get wiser, so you don't need as much strength. So I think it's a Western dogma that you get old and you become weak. That's not true. If you keep training and you take care of yourself, you increasingly get stronger. I am now 34, and I feel stronger than when I was 20. I feel the same physically. I don't feel like my joints are hurting. I don't feel any pain, or I feel better. I feel stronger. If I wrestled myself in my 20s, I would just crush that guy. I would crush that guy. I know so much more than him now. So don't let that enter your mind. Age is just a number. It's all in your head. Take care of your body, and you will keep improving. Last question. I have no idea what it is, and here it is. Best position moves for smaller BJJ guys. People make such a big deal out of it. These moves are good for little guys. All of Jiu-Jitsu is made for the little guy. All of it. If you show me a move and say, hey, you better be the bigger guy if you want to do this move, I don't want to learn that move. What's the useless to me? If I'm the bigger, stronger guy, and that's the only time it's going to work, that you're telling me this move is inefficient. So all of Jiu-Jitsu is about efficiency, and efficiency is about doing more with less. So to answer your question, all of Jiu-Jitsu, the best Jiu-Jitsu, the most technical Jiu-Jitsu is the Jiu-Jitsu for the smaller guy. Now I'm going to be making videos. A lot of people are asking me this question. I will make videos, how to deflect a bigger guy, etc. But I won't say it's for the smaller guy versus the bigger guy necessarily. But the only reason I do that is because people keep asking me for it. If I wouldn't word it that way, everybody out there is wording it that way, so I'll do it for you guys. But the truth of the matter is, the heart of it all is jiu-jitsu is made for the little man. So doing more with less is about efficiency, and that's what jiu-jitsu is about. I'll do one more bonus question just for you guys. Here it is. Verac Life, what exercises do you do with the kettlebell? They got a lot of hate in the gym industry and are being industry as being outdated tool, and if any is any of it justified? No, it's not outdated. It's a classic tool. It's a phenomenal tool. Use it. It's just as good as any other tool that I like. So I think it's up there. I put it in my top 5. And what exercises do I do? Read Pavel Tsatsoulin's Simply Sinister. He just wrote a book out recently. It's a phenomenal book. He teaches goblet squat. He teaches snatch. He teaches swing. He teaches Turkish get up, and of course the snatch. He tells you the most basic, and those are the best. Those are pretty much all I do. I think they're the best. Martial artists, you don't have time to get fancy with your workouts. Stick with the basics. Stick with compound movements. Stick with the core movements that relate most to fighting, etc., and you will be successful. All right, guys, that brings us to the end of this episode. I hope you guys like and share and enjoy this. If this video gets a lot of like, I'll keep doing them every so often, and hope you guys enjoyed it. See you in the next episode. Thank you.